Clash of Clans podcast, OG, episode 4. And welcome back to the Clash of Clans podcast. I am Scotty827, hanging out here with Tipdawg20. How's it going, Tipdawg?
Tipdawg20. It's going great, man. We're looking forward to this update that's going to be coming out soon.
Update
getting a bunch of nerds
day.
Excited about this stuff.
Yeah, so we just got on the Zoom call. We started talking and basically said, let's just start recording because we were already slipping into it. So I have no idea really about anything besides the one spell. And so you texted me this morning, and last night you had said Easter, I think. Then I had that text today, and tell me about what's happening, what's going on.
So that the Easter update was when I heard that the next event is going to be. So for every 2 months for the past 5 months, Supercell has been putting out these special events. So in October, November, they did a Mashup Madness event. That's actually right before you started back again. And it was a really cool event.
Cool.
So Supercell hired a ton of new staff. And because they have the extra hands to code, they're putting out they have lots of new ideas, lots of cool stuff. And then, of course, in December, they had the Cookie Rumble event. And then most recently, they had the Lunar New Year event. I heard that the next event is going to be in 2 months around Easter time. I assume that's when they're going to be starting to release new stuff. But no, that's not the case. They're surprising us even earlier.
This is a marvel. So is this going to be a big update is the question.
So it's not a big update as far as updates go. So whenever Darian gets interviewed by Judah Sloth or whoever, he always says there's a spring update, a summer update, a fall update, and a winter update. We've already had our winter update. That was Town Hall 16. So the next big update is not supposed to be until the spring if they're going according to schedule. So technically, this is not a big update, but there are some big changes in this update, even though it's a smaller update.
Since it is an El Nino year, could this be an early spring update? I'm just kidding.
Could be. Did the little guy see his shadow? Therefore, Supercell comes out with the update early.
The little barbarian.
Barbarian see his shadow.
So what are you excited? What did you hear? What are you excited about? What should I be excited about?
So there's so much. So I did send you one spell that had been leaked. And
was it the overgrowth?
The overgrowth spell. So
yeah.
I don't have details on this. And I know
it says invisibility, a large piece of the base.
Supercell doesn't like it when creators talk about leaks, which, I mean, understandable, right? They don't want their signature spells and troops being released to the public early. But I found this quote unquote leak like through a channel that came from another channel, that came from another channel, that came from another. So it's already out there. Everybody knows.
My best friend's sister's boyfriend knows this guy was going with this girl.
Everybody knows that the overgrowth spell is coming, and it's a really cool idea. So the idea is that it's going to be an invisibility spell combined with a freeze spell. So it's going to make an area invisible, but also freeze the defenses in that area. And it says for a long time. We don't know what a long time is. So currently, the invisibility spell lasts 4.5 seconds. So what is a long time? 4 times that? So that's what, 18 seconds? And interestingly enough, I made a super spells video about 6 months ago. And in that video, I said it would be super cool if we could have a super invisibility spell that when you threw it down, it lasted 18 seconds. Now, I'm not saying that Supercell is watching my videos at all because I'm a teeny tiny creator. But I still think that would be cool, and there would be a lot of uses for it. What tickles you about that? Any thoughts?
Well, okay, so that is not going to be in this update. That's a possible.
Correct. No, that I suspect that'll be in the Easter update.
Okay, so
nobody's supposed to know about this one yet.
Oh, okay.
Only Scotty827 and Tipdawg20 know about
Yeah,
it,
so
and we're just
we're not.
talking about it between us. Nobody
Yeah,
else. We're not
okay.
talking to anybody else about it.
Yeah, so we'll keep that between us. uh, it kind of looked like to me, if I'm gonna guess, just I saw the icon thing that it is a plant type thing like the root rider,
Mhm.
which I don't really have a lot of experience with yet. Um, but I think it would be something like that that goes up buildings and then holds it and nothing kind of like a I'm trying to think of like
Like vines almost that
yeah,
creep
like
up.
an ant, from Lord of the Rings
So
or
I had a actually did a short. See, this
Groot.
is so exciting to
It's a
me.
Groot spell.
Oh, that would be perfect. I did a short where I am reimagined Town Hall 16 to where roots grew out of the town hall. And
Ooh.
rather than the fire beams that come out of the town hall, the roots would reach out and grab troops and bring them into the town hall poison that was automatically triggered at 50% whenever the town hall was activated.
Ooh.
So I'm kind of thinking it's similar to that. Like roots grow up out of the ground and grab the top of the archer towers, maybe grab the archers that are on top and won't let them shoot, almost like a
Ooh.
boa constrictor or something like that,
I'd be down for that.
Poison ivy-ish. Mm,
Yep. I'm
mm,
down.
mm.
So so we gotta wait. This is an unconfirmed rumor. Little Susie was telling her neighbor, we overheard it. Um, what is it that we can expect this week?
So this week, supposedly tomorrow, this is Sunday, so supposedly on Monday, we should expect the Hog Rider puppet and the Haste vial. So I should have looked. I don't know what levels he's come out at. I think they're Town Hall
What?
13.
A hog rider puppet?
A Hog Rider puppet. So how it works, and it's super cool. I love it. I
Ooh.
just made a video on it, so I'm super pumped about it.
Ooh.
I just spent 6 hours working on this video, doing research. So I'm all nerding out about it. So the Hog Rider vial, whenever you put it on your RC, when you press the ability, Hog Riders pop out of the RC and then go on the attack with the RC. But a really cool feature with the Hog Rider puppet, and it's why I love it so much, is once the ability is pressed, the RC goes invisible for 1 second. So that means if there are defenses that are shooting her, you press the ability, she immediately goes invisible, just like the queen does with her invisibility vial. And then the hogs run out ahead and take over. And then the RC kind of acts as cleanup behind the hogs. This is so exciting.
So it's like the world champion. Is that a hog in your pocket or are you just happy to see me?
That's a big old
Because
hog rider in your pocket.
okay. I'm kind of taking this in, just trying to imagine it. I have not seen your video. So hogs, world
Right.
champion. How
Nine of
many?
them. Nine
Nine
of
of
them
them?
at max. 9 hogs pop out of the RC. 7 at
Oh
level 1.
man.
7 hogs pop out at level 1.
Could you imagine that with the frost arrow? Or is it the freeze arrow or frost arrow?
The frozen arrow
Frozen arrow.
could. I mean, it could work on some attacks. I mean, you just have to play
Imagine
around with it and see what works for you,
you're freezing the defense. Here goes the hogs
Although
right after you.
you can't put the frozen arrow on the RC, unfortunately. You can only put it
Oh
on
yeah,
the
duh. I don't know what I'm thinking. Oh my.
It's okay.
Uh, well, I still haven't really played too much with mine yet, so we'll have to see how that. So okay, that's for the royal champion.
Mhm.
Hogs, what would you replace on the royal champion already?
So just to kind of let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, am I spoiling everything?
No, you're good. I go over all this. So the Seeking Shield has turned into be a seeking can of garbage. So the Seeking Shield doesn't do much. It gives the RC just a little HP. I think at max it's 385.
The Captain America shield.
The Captain America shield. Now, you would think that it would be super cool, right? I mean, you're
Yep.
throwing the shield. That's awesome. And the shield itself at max does do 10,000 in damage. that split out 2,500 to each defense that it hits, or if there are no defenses on the buildings that it hits, whatever's left. So it does 2,500 damage to each of those buildings. But the problem is if your Seeking Shield, for example, hits a scatter shot, then bounces over to the monolith, then bounces to the eagle, then bounces over to another scatter shot, well, nothing's actually destroyed because all of those defenses are way over 2,500 hit points. So therefore, the Seeking Shield, although it does damage to it, those buildings are left up and are left to continue shooting. Also, with the battle builders, if there's a battle builder nearby and the Seeking Shield hits it and then the RC goes another way, then the battle builders just end up healing them up anyway. So if I'm going to be replacing it eventually, I'm not going to use it right away because it's low level, but we don't even have it yet at the time of this recording. But if I'm going to be replacing it, I'm going to be replacing my Seeking Shield with the Hog Rider puppet, but I'm going to be keeping the Royal Gem. So in addition to the Hog Rider puppet, we have the other piece of RC equipment. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the Hog Rider puppet? Because there's not much left.
No, I'm kind of anxious to see it. I got to be honest. I have not used Hog Riders much for a very, very long time. And in fact, I think I'm going to have to start upgrading my hogs. And I know you use them in your regular attacks, or you've talked about it at least, right?
Yeah, so I haven't really. So I use Super Hogs a little bit at Town Hall 15, but they were tough to use. Honestly, I have not used hogs. I use them at Town Hall 13 with my hybrid attacks, and then of course I use them at Town Hall 9. Back in the day,
Yeah.
OG days. In fact, that was what everybody used.
Yeah.
Which makes it. I mean, the game.
They were like the greatest things when they came out.
But they were the only thing that you could use. Like, you could use hogs or you could use Lalo to 3-star base at Town Hall 9. Like, there was nothing else that worked. And now with all of these choices that Supercell's giving us, like, you have so many different ways that you can attack a base now. And that's what's so exciting about it.
Well, and if this wouldn't have been an update news episode, I wanted to get into the super troops, because that's a whole new frontier for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm seeing, the more I'm in it, the more I've been playing, how many different options there really are, and variation, because,
Mm-hmm.
adding the super troop, the hog riders, now the magic appearing hog riders, I'm kind of blown away, just because, like, we've seen it with archers and I guess the barbarian, the healers.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
is something that I did not expect.
So I'm gonna blow your mind one more time. You ready?
Uh-oh.
Okay. So there's one more piece of synergy with the Hog Rider puppet that is just absolutely amazing. They work really well together if you get the right base to attack. And again, the RC equipment is just like the Archer Queen equipment and the Grand Warden equipment and the King equipment, and that what pieces of equipment you use can definitely be base dependent. So you may use the Archer puppet on your Queen for one base. You may use the Healer puppet on another base. So if you combine the RC and the Hog Rider puppet with the Warden's Healing Tome, then your RC can actually go above her health whenever she started the attack. Because one thing that the Hog Rider puppet does is it gives you an additional 1,000 available HP. So she starts at one level, you hit the ability, her total level of HP actually goes 1,000 beyond what she started with. And if she's within the Warden's Healing Tome, that Healing Tome lasts 18 seconds. She's going to be stronger if she's within that tome than whenever she even started the attack. That's how powerful the Hog Rider puppet is going to be. It's super powerful. I'm going to get to start work on it right away. I got to get it up on as many of my heroes as possible. Yeah.
Okay. That's so wild. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that, now the RC, the Royal Champion, that comes at Town Hall 13, right?
Town Hall 13. Yep.
So this isn't going to affect the new players or the town halls under TH13, obviously.
Yeah, so if you're lower than Town Hall 13, you're not going to get any of this equipment anyway, which is kind of a bummer. But I'm pretty sure that the Hog Rider puppet and the haste file both come into the blacksmith at Town Hall 13 if you upgrade your blacksmith level to level 7, I think it is, if I remember right.
Okay, does that mean I'm gonna have to check on my stuff?
So if you're maxed out, if your blacksmith's
yep,
already maxed at that level, then you should be good.
Okay. So is there things for other players like the below 13?
So that's the big thing. Like that's why I said this is not a big update, but the Hog Rider puppet and the haste file, which we haven't discussed yet, those are huge because the RC was the only hero that was left that didn't have extra equipment other than what she's had for years and years and years and years. For years, she's had the Royal Gem and she's had the Seeking Shield. Like that's just been her ability. And when they introduced all this equipment in the blacksmith back in December, whenever they introduced the blacksmith, the RC was the only one that didn't get special equipment. And now she is. And now she's so happy that she has a Hog Rider in her pocket.
So do you think this is like, so we see with updates or it was actually in the past when troops have come out. Now, again, I'm returning to the game. This is probably the first major update since. Is this something that will be OP? Like, are they going to put this out and
have to nerf it?
Yeah,
they could, because the scuttlebutt is that Root Riders are getting a nerf because they're way too powerful at Town Hall 16. And let's just be honest. So I'm a decent attacker. I'm not a pro by far. Like I fail more often.
You look pretty good.
But I fail more often than I succeed. Let's just be clear about that. I do decent at the lower town halls. That's just because I've been at the lower town halls for a really long time. But at Town Hall 16, I've been using Root Riders, and everything now on my base is really close to max. My Spirit Fox is going to level 10 right now so that I can start using the Spirit Fox on my RC. And I'm finding with Root Riders and with the Spirit Fox, I'm able to 3-star a very high percentage of the time in my Legend League attacks. And a lot of
Town
people
Hall
say
16?
At Town Hall 16. Yeah.
And so, is this now the state of the game that 3-starring Town Hall 16s is like possible? You know, even thinking about our like last conversation.
Yeah.
And we talked about TH11, and I played after TH11. I played into TH12, but that was right where things I think that's about the time where I had stopped playing a little bit more. And we talked about being so hard to 2-star, 3-star TH11. Is this the same type of situation?
Yeah,
with
so
the TH16s?
Yeah, I think that Supercell realizes that if a player can 3-star every now and again, they feel good about the game and they want to keep playing. And
they don't like us to just cry.
Yeah, well, that too. But like you were saying, man, back in the day, you remember, like, it was impossible. Like, literally, unless you use special software, it was literally impossible to 3-star at Town Hall 10. And then I as I said earlier, I watched an old interview video with Darian and Judo Sloth. I think there were like 9,000 views on this video. And just for comparison, Judo Sloth now has, I think, 2.8 million subscribers. He just put out a video this morning and it already has like 500,000 views already at this point. So this video, he had like 9,000 views on this video. And Darian was talking about how the 3-star rate at Town Hall 11, and Town Hall 11 was top of the game back then, was even lower than it was back in the day when Town Hall 10 was the max. That's how difficult it was to 3-star. So it does seem like they're starting to focus more on trying to give players a little easier time on 3-starring a base. I think because it makes them a little more money because players
Yeah.
feel good about it, you know?
Well, and and here's the one thing too, with when talking about that 3-starring the TH11s back in the day, I think if you didn't live through it and to just kind of get at what we mean, I think where the problem came was not that it was you couldn't 3-star, but when it came to a war, it became really unpredictable.
Yeah.
And so I think the basic formats of like, here's how you attack or who's going to attack, and it just threw a lot of chaos up into the air. And I don't know. I don't know how to explain it that well, but for me, who doesn't, who wasn't 3-starring, it probably wouldn't have been in that range. Anyways, it was affecting just war, the ability to 2-star things. So just a little bit of context on there. Um,
So
because
I watched an old Champions War League video, which we have talked about Champions War League a little bit. And before Supercell did their Clash World Championships, they actually did this special video presentation on Champions War League. And I remember watching those. I watched those attacks. You can still watch video to today. And they would regularly hit up with their lower town halls to 2-star. So their town hall 10s would hit up to their town hall 11s to
yeah,
2-star them, and then they would
yep,
use their town hall 11s to hit down on the town hall
yep,
10s to be able to 3-star those, because it was so difficult to
yep,
3-star town hall versus town hall level.
yeah. So people were not used to hitting where they wanted to hit. It wasn't quite. It was challenging, but too challenging in different ways because of that. So I think just to kind of put it all into context, I think is really important, because it's not like, oh, too bad elite people can't 3-star base. It was a disruptive type of thing,
Right.
unbalanced
Yeah, agreed.
for sure. So, okay, so Town Hall 16's pretty in balance.
It's pretty so Town Hall 15, interestingly enough, was one of the more difficult halls to 3-star at. It wasn't as difficult as like Town Hall 11 or Town Hall 10 were back in the day, but I actually did a video on the reason why Supercell put out Town Hall 16 so early, because they put it out after 14 months, and they normally
Really?
was putting it out after on an 18-month schedule. And the reason was because they were losing so many players. And it's suspected that one of the main reasons they were losing so many players was because Town Hall 15 was so difficult to 3-star. And so they've reversed that. And now with Root Riders, for example, Town Hall 16 is much easier to 3-star base.
So did they fix the problem then? Really? If they just increased the level, or was it they
So
just said,
that
"Oh wait, let me give you a little bit more stuff, make things harder so that way you can stay at that level."
Yeah, so at Town Hall 15, they introduced the monolith, and they introduced the
I've
spell
seen that.
towers. You're
I don't even wanna I don't even wanna think about it. I might just stay at Town Hall 13 forever.
Man, it is, and it's tough. Like, you have to learn how to go against it, because it,
Yeah.
it will destroy your king in 3 or 4 hits. Like, just completely destroy him. Like, he's dead. If he gets within range of it, it'll knock him out in just a few seconds. So you have to watch it, you have to freeze it, you have to figure out a way to get through it. So it was just overwhelming at Town Hall 15, and Town Hall 16 seems to be a lot better, at least
And
when it comes to the monolith.
there's so much that is just a mystery to me because I haven't got to pets yet. I don't really get to see a ton of the game, or I haven't seen a ton of the game, I should say, with the troops. I gotta dig into those videos, but um it's just there's so much more available at those later town halls. Makes me excited. I might be going to 14 in the near future, only because I'm having a problem with my dark elixir.
Having too much of it?
Yeah.
That's a good problem.
It's a good problem, except if I don't want to keep all my heroes down, because I've had 3 of the 4, right? Yeah, 3
Right?
of the
Yep.
4
Yep.
down most of this last week,
Yep.
and I could have put my king down.
You won't have a problem at Town Hall 14 because of pets and pets.
That's kinda where I'm thinking, like,
Yep.
it's just my, defenses are so undervalued. But
That's okay.
so what else comes in? The haste spell you said?
So the haste vial. So the
Vial.
haste vial is a new piece of RC equipment as well. And at max, it doubles her strength. So she's twice as powerful as she was before,
Ooh.
essentially. So it speeds her up, basically. I said that wrong. So it doesn't double her strength, it makes her twice as fast. So she runs
So
twice as fast. She throws her spear twice as fast.
she's
So
got
she's
hog riders
twice
exploding out of her.
out of her pants.
Yep.
Wait a second. Wait a second here. I thought
The hog
RC
pant champion.
but she goes fast.
And she's easy.
Cut.
Yeah. Oh, Lord. And so that goes on. So now how will that work compared to, like, so the rage vial for the warden
Mhm.
versus the haste? What's good comparison on those two?
So the rage vial only increases the troops within the warden's aura, their power. So their DPS. So if you have a hog rider that's within the warden's aura that has the rage vial on, then that hog rider will do up to 50% more damage. I don't know off the top of my head what their DPS is, but let's say it's 100.
You don't have
Well,
this memorized?
I do.
I can't believe it.
So let's say it's 100, just for example's sake. Well, under the warden's rage aura, now the hog rider does 150 damage because it does
Okay.
50% more. Now with the haste vial, there's no aura around the RC, but
So it's just her?
it just speeds her up. So it doesn't make her stronger. I was incorrect in that. It just speeds her up, and she's able to do twice the amount of damage in the same amount of time.
Well, will those hogs explode out pretty fast?
I don't think the
If
hogs are increased at all if you have the
Oh,
haste vial on the RC. In fact, if you have I don't recommend it, but if you put the haste vial and combine that with the hog rider puppet, so instead of having the royal gem and the seeking shield, which is what she has now, you put the hog rider puppet and the haste vial on her, she will just run out ahead of the hogs because she's so much faster than the
yeah.
hogs, and she dies early. So that's not a good combo.
She's new. I've kept her down. She's going to level 13, I think, right now. I've
Have you
gotten a
popped her
few.
cherry yet?
Yeah, I have. I wasn't
Oh.
able to
Was it good?
well, I'd have waited for the hogs if I would have known.
Could have had those hog
Yeah,
riders with you.
it was cool, but that was the problem. That's what it made me think of, that I have to learn the timing on her, how to get her in faster, how to,
Yep.
just get her there. No pun intended, I guess.
But it's fun learning, right?
Yeah, it's really cool. And these variations are cool, that the freeze arrow. I'm trying to get the names
Frozen arrow.
down. Frozen arrow. Played around with that too. The variation, really cool. I'm digging it. I'm excited to see this. And that's why I'm just gonna keep my RC going up and up and up. Don't get used to using her. Trying to do this warden, trying to do the queen, trying to do the king is just it's painful. It's always been painful, but I'm just gonna keep doing it.
But it's a
Just
lot easier than it used to be.
Yeah. I look at, okay, for example, for me to be able to put, in the old days, to put a king and a queen down in a week would have been a good feat of farming. Like, for me to have I could have put down all of my heroes, but I just wanted one up. That would have been like, whoa, what the hell? But I go into these matches and the DE, and I almost want to go back to the later episodes, uh the later of the last episodes and see what I was farming for DE, because I think then I was pulling maybe 2,000.
And that was a good raid.
Yeah, that was like a net of like 2,000. That was like a really good raid. And now I'm pulling 10,000 a raid,
Yep. Yeah.
which is mind blowing.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, you know. And if I if I had been a newer player, right, it started just maybe a year or two ago, it would make sense that they're the kings and queens are getting up there much faster. They're shorter times. There's more DE. Um, but again, I'm behind, so it's just just knowing that there's so many levels left to go is just it's killer.
So
But
you're the type of player that Supercell loves
yeah,
because they know
well,
that you're likely to pull out the old wallet
I
and
am
speed
not.
things up a little bit.
I am not. I stick my foot right down, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it, even though it's so tempting.
It
But
is.
I look at it, I'm like, oh, I could just buy that book, or I could buy this thing. And for me, I go, where would it stop? Well, I just put in this. So I for myself, I decided I'm only going to do the passes in the event things, and then probably a little bit of one gem stuff, and maybe a little thing here and there.
You know what's really hard? And no, not the hog rider in the RC's pocket.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Is whenever Supercell gives you a deal and it's labeled especially for
Oh
you. Have you gotten one of those yet?
no, but it said on the one I saw last, just do it, or
Just
do
do
it for
it.
yourself. It was something like that. I was like, you know, you're right. No.
So every now and again, Supercell will pick you to give an extra special deal to. So my Tal Shiar account, my Rush Town Hall 13, Strategic Rush Town Hall 13, had this offering in the shop that was not on any of my other 6 accounts that I play. None of them had this one.
Ooh,
And in the label, it said, especially for you. It was a book of heroes, it was a book of building, and it was a research potion
wow.
for $1.99.
Supercell must love you.
They do love
They
me.
picked it out just for you. That's pretty amazing.
They love the hog rider in my pocket.
I actually decided a while ago, because I was doing the podcast back in the day and now again, that it'd probably be best for me as a player, and I really couldn't afford it uh a lot to gem all the time. Although I'd buy a handful, you know, the $10 thing of gems. Because I'm doing it, I think it is best if I don't gem the things up, so I can kind of play it more like a normal player.
To kind of get experience slowly.
Yeah, because if I mean, what am I gonna do? Go right to 16, and then I've thought a lot about this. We kind of talked about it in different ways, but what's my end game? You know, and so I kind of want to enjoy the ride a little bit. I think instead of rushing to 16, but I do think being in the 14, 15 range probably puts me in a better position competitively, maybe. Kind of like, you know, an 8 versus a 9 versus a 10.
Yeah, so Town Hall 14 is where you really start to pick up the strategies that you're going to use at Town Hall 16,
Yeah.
like funneling, doing hero dives into a base to pick up the queen or an enemy RC. Like you can really start to use the strategies that are used at the highest levels at Town Hall 14. So I think it's a smart decision. And then just hang out at Town Hall 14 for a while.
Well, I've got that DE just piling up. I It kind of seems like 13 and 14. Like 13, I didn't really get a ton of stuff like I would expect. It just seems like the town halls are just a little bit shorter than they used to be. Um, however, I've been doing all the things that I was supposed to be doing, and so I've barely touched defenses.
Mm.
I decided I'm going to go back and start one builder on the shortest things, the air bombs, traps, all that stuff, because those are usually the ones that ruin my attacks. So I'm going to ruin other people's attacks. that black air bomb just takes out a full dragon,
Yep. Yep.
and
Especially when it's maxed.
yeah, and those were always the boring ones, the
Mhm.
ones I kind of put off doing. So I figure if I keep one builder going on the small things, then there's enough, it'll free up builders quick enough that I can do my raids without worrying about having too much loot. I can put it into walls. Um, and I've been upgrading the Giga Inferno thing and doing research, but the research is going way faster than it used to.
Mhm.
And so I do think that it is nearing that range where
Have you
I'll just be
started
it.
have you started using the Clan Capital raid medals yet to buy stuff in the
Yep.
trader shop?
Yep. I did. Yep.
Nice.
I bought builder potions, which are awesome, and research potions. And with all those things like clan games and the events, it's amazing how fast things can progress. The books, the runes, where you don't have to necessarily go farm all day long for it.
Mhm.
So, but like I said, whenever I get into that range where it is, I, c- I can't not go for DE. It is so in my bones. When I look at the thing, all I'm looking at is how much DE is there. I don't look at anything else.
Yep. Yep. I'm the same
Um,
way.
so that's a good plus, and maybe because my heroes are lower, um, maybe I'll run into some problems as they increase in
Well, they're not too bad. Your queen's what, a 68? That's pretty high.
67.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's actually pretty good. I don't know how. Uh, I think when I was just playing a little bit, I was putting her down and not afraid to do that. The king's going up to 53. He did 2 levels
Mhm.
this week. My warden is going to 32, I think,
Mhm.
and he is so painful to leave out. He's as painful to leave out as the queen.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I figured maybe I'll just do warden, queen, royal champion, or I'll keep the royal champion down, and then, but I just won't let any DE drop.
What is your RC at right now?
She's going to 12 or
Nice.
13.
Yeah, she's max at 25 at Town Hall
Yep.
13.
Yep. And I'm just piling on. Like I said, I just want one hero that's maxed. But with those spell books and the event stuff, I was kind of planning on with my queen just to do the books. With her, I'm not sure that's going to work out so well, just
Yeah.
because there's a lot of DE, but I'll get there. And so I was thinking that for the pets. And to be honest, like I don't see the pets in this part of the game.
Mhm.
Um, which I kind of wonder how lower town halls people newer to the game feel about that.
They add a lot. So
Yeah.
the unicorn, for example, on is typically put on your queen. Like it's like having a free healer just on your queen all the time. So as she stays
Ooh.
up way longer. So you're able to use her a lot more in attacks. And I know how much you love your queen. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like the pets are awesome, and I mean you're gonna love them as soon as you get to Town Hall 14 at least.
Yeah. Do you think that lower town halls like experience pets, or so like if we're talking about on the podcast, are people pretty aware of what's out there, do you think?
I
If
think
you're
they're
not?
aware, but the majority of Clash of Clans players are at Town Hall 12 and Town Hall 13, like the highest percentage.
Oh, really?
And I think it's because of the longer upgrade time. So at Town Hall 12 and Town Hall 13, that's when you start to get in these 7, 8, 9 day upgrades. When previously, it's funny to think about considering
Yeah.
back in the day, but at Town Hall 11 and below, like you have one day
That must just
upgrades and 2 day
flew
upgrades.
past.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like right now, I feel as a Town Hall 13 how I probably felt on my second account, Britney Spears. Um, as a TH8.
I totally forgot about that. What is Britney Spears at now?
I have no idea.
I
She's just on
remember,
Instagram doing stuff.
I remember when you made that account and named it that.
Yeah, Britney Spears
It's so
trademark.
funny. You need one. You need a Madonna one too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I can't, man. I can barely manage one account. So I think I did it for, I can't remember what it was for, but I thought maybe bringing her out of retirement at some point. But really though, that I too much work for two. But when going through the Town Hall 7, 8, it was so much fun because you were going really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to get into those longer upgrades. And so that's where I feel like with my account with a 13 that it is really like a old 9 almost
Yeah, I agree.
going into a 10 or
Yeah,
maybe 8 going to a 10. Something
yeah.
just like right on
So
the cusp of it.
it
But
took
like,
me 9 months to max out my Town Hall 9 back in the day. To kind of give you a time
wow,
comparison, 9 months, and I was a maxer back then, so that was literally maxing everything out at
your
Town Hall 8.
walls,
Everything except
living
for
it
the
up.
research. If I remember, the lab wasn't finished yet, but everything else was finished. And then I pressed the button to go to Town Hall 9. 9
Boom.
months from the beginning to the end of Town Hall 9.
That's crazy. And I bet now Town Hall 9's probably
Ugh,
month,
17
2 months,
days, probably.
probably something really short.
Yeah, so crazy.
So, is there anything else in the update besides that you know of?
Yeah, so the giant gauntlet bug has been removed. So I know you don't have the giant gauntlet because you
Nope.
came in right at the tail end. But
Yep.
used to be if you had your giant gauntlet on your king, and then he was inside the warden's tome, and then you press the tome first, that tome was then transferred to the king. So when you press the king's ability, the king would be invincible for the length of the giant gauntlet ability.
Wow.
That was a bug. It was not supposed to be there. It was a glitch, and that's actually going to be taken out now. So, and it was an OP
Dang.
glitch. It was an OP glitch. Having an invincible king for up to 18 seconds.
How come nobody told me about that?
Well, you did have the giant gauntlet.
I wish
so
I could have
think
got
of
like the
it.
memo. I'd be on that.
But it was amazing to watch your king with this glitch in, because a single target Inferno would lock onto your king, and if you had a max gauntlet, that Inferno would go for 18 seconds at max and still wouldn't kill the king.
Wow.
So, but they're taking it out. So,
okay, so that is gone. So I guess, well, maybe I have till tomorrow to do that then.
yeah.
No, I don't have the gauntlet. Dang it. Do it with something that has it.
So, decorations can no longer block troop deployment, which is big, because now you can put troops down on top of headstones and Christmas trees and all kinds of stuff when you couldn't before. It would block.
I think psychologically though, people still won't do it.
Probably not. Yeah, they probably won't touch it.
I would forget to do that.
A player can now do clan wars and friendly wars at the same time.
What? So yeah,
that's big. We talked about that before.
Yep. And so when does that start, by the way? Do you
I'm assuming the update's tomorrow or Tuesday.
So with the CWL, that is usually at the beginning of the month, you said?
Oh, CWL. Yeah, we got to talk about whether or not we're going to do that next month. We have to have 15 accounts, which I have 5 accounts in Quark Bar that we can bring over if we need to.
It'd be great if we got some podcast listeners to come join House of L.
Yeah, help us out with CWL.
Come help us out with CWL if you don't want. I know a lot of people are in their clans and they have their own thing going on, but maybe want to come join just for that. Or if you're looking for a new clan, want to come join House of L, I did put the clan tag up on the website, but it is House of L level 22 clan. So stop by, come say hi, do war,
join the fun.
Join the fun. Let's put that up on the website. Man, I'm really scraping the bottom of the barrel of taglines as I write some of that stuff.
And then the last thing that I noticed was time last played is now up to a month rather than a week. So you know how You
Oh
look at the list of
yeah.
players, it says has played more than a week. Well, now it will tell you the last time that they played up to a month. And if it's been
Okay.
over a month, it will say hasn't played in over a month, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of weird they don't just put the number of days, but
They might do that with the update. I don't know what it's going to look like whenever it comes out.
that gives you a lot of information, I guess, for people who've been away or whatnot.
Yeah, because if somebody's been away for over a month, it's pretty obvious they're not coming back. At
Yeah,
least not
gives you
anytime
kind
soon.
of like a benchmark, like, hey, a week is a lot, but I can see how that's super helpful.
Are you playing every day?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. This last week was release week of the podcast. Put up 3 episodes and started doing the back episodes. And I was gonna just put as many of the back episodes up as I could. I put 10 up, and I'm glad I only did 10. As I get things posted again, I have to make sure everything is working right, and there's already a couple settings that now I'm gonna have to redo some things, not repost them or anything, but I'll have to do some hand things. So I'm just going to, for a while, post probably about 10 a week of the old episodes, and then we'll post our new episodes weekly too with that.
I'm looking forward to it.
So this week was really kind of busy with that. I got a cold and stuff, and so I did do a bunch of playing. My storages were staying filled up, but it is so much nicer to be able to go in to, you've got 2 armies practically trained. Your heroes don't have to sleep. I can do it, just so much more manageable for me, for sure, to attack. So I'm doing that, and then really kind of strategizing and working on my war attacks, even though they just every time. I had one last night.
I saw
Was
the
like,
99%.
was it that one?
Maybe.
No,
I was like,
that was 2 wars ago.
okay. I
I
thought I
think
saw
so.
another one.
It might have been, but I started the attack and then I was doing it right. I boosted. I made sure everything was good, and I had 2 heroes down, but I thought, I think I got this, because I was watching one of your videos, by the way, on the hero equipment,
Mm-hmm.
and I had been really forgetting to aim my log roller.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing that. I aimed the log roller. I got everything going, and then I realized I forgot to quake. And I think I would have done so much better, but I've been practicing. Especially, I'll watch like your attack on something, and then I had an idea for like some electro drags, for example, and I've been trying to do attacks in different parts. And
Mm-hmm.
this is what I love about coming back to play. You don't have to do the troops don't cost money.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine trying to practice while you were there. Um,
Mm-hmm.
War attacks, and it cost 4,000 DE to run your army. I don't remember what it
Mm-hmm.
was, but it
Yeah.
was like, okay, it was just a struggle just to maintain on war days. And then to get that practice, it was like, I can't upgrade anything. I can't move forward unless I'm doing it. So I love being able to do it, and it's not a big deal. So I've been trying to do these little squad things, trying to say, well, what can I do with my queen to take out X amount of the base? I've been playing with that frost spell. There's
Mm-hmm.
frost arrow, which I like. It's at level 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's going up there, but I saw in that video too, you were talking about the ramping up on the Inferno Towers, and
Mm-hmm.
that it really slows it down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm running that with the healer puppet, and then I'm teleporting her out at the when she's in danger, and I've missed it a couple times. I missed it in that attack too. My beam wasn't great.
What
And then I
Scotty? What
beam
Scotty
her.
wasn't at the controls?
Yeah, and then I beam
Beam
her
me up,
out.
Scotty.
Yeah, that would not have been the episode where everybody's saved.
She was wearing a red shirt.
Yeah. So, so I beam her out, and then I've been throwing a drag down with her, and then I've been throwing trying to electro drag, and then I tried a dragon and some super minions, and doing this kind of queen walk kill squad out the end. But I'll keep you posted because it hasn't been wildly successful yet.
Yeah, but it's exciting. It's exciting to
Yeah,
try new stuff, and you can do. And that's actually a recent change. Like they only made armies free like a year ago,
really.
year and a half ago, if I remember right.
My king and queen level would still be the same.
You're
I did see on that video too. So I was watching the video. It was on I think it was just on the hero equipment. I see that log roller one. So I'm starting to aim it, right?
Mhm,
And then you were talking about is a giant arrow? What's it
mhm.
called?
Yeah, the giant arrow.
And you said Supercell really wasn't there isn't a big strategy with it yet. Or like right, it was kind of like it doesn't have its glory day yet.
Yeah, so it has the potential to be really OP because it shoots all the way across the base, and it does at max, I think it's 1875 damage. So, and it will damage every single building that it hits by that amount. So it's almost, I mean, the RC Seeking Shield does 2,500 damage, but it's almost as if you took the RC Seeking Shield, pointed it in a line, and just bam, 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 bam,
Yeah.
bam, bam, hit every single building in a line, doing all of that damage to it. That's amazing. And I still think that
I
the giant arrow will have its glory day.
so so here's my question. It shoots across. What percentage does it take off? Well, I suppose it doesn't there's not a consistent percentage, right?
Right. Yeah. It's just a set
So
number
like
of damage.
because I was looking at that and I couldn't help but think that looks like a quake.
Very much like it.
And I thought, well, imagine Quattro Quaco. If if you or like a six quake, if you shot that arrow right across and then we're able to take a couple less quakes and just shake the base out.
Yep. Yep. So if you combined it with zaps too, like you would have to do the math. Like you'd have to get really nerdy
Oh
about it,
crap.
but you could you could shoot the arrow across. So a max giant arrow will already destroy, like just by itself, an air defense cannons and archer towers, and then it will severely damage a lot of other defenses. So all you have to do is do the math, throw down the number of probably one quake and then maybe one or two lightnings here and there to destroy the rest of the buildings that the arrows already hit. Like it has the potential to be completely OP, but nobody's using it because nobody really knows how to use it yet.
Like imagine you drop so the arrow goes in the direction that you're pointing when it happens, right?
Right.
Okay. So your base, you've got it. You're going in to attack this base. You were standing on the opposite side, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
and you aim straight through just a bunch of defenses, which
Mm-hmm.
I saw in this war. There was a bunch like lines. Then you've got your log roller right behind it.
Yep.
And
It
then you
would
quake.
it would do so much damage.
Yeah. And then you pull the queen back and do it like so she's shot that stuff off. She's got her two healers on her. Maybe you just teleport her out, let everybody go in there, and then queen walk her around.
Or in behind the troops even.
Yeah. It's
So if
like
you
if
have
you can get your troops out there in front of her and she's not gonna or just be very careful to watch her. I'm gonna have
mhm.
to try this, but mine's so low. That's why I haven't. Um, but yeah, you could I would think like you because that would be an early ability, you'd want to just have her hang back somehow.
Could. Yeah. So I always said that the frozen arrow synergizes really well with the giant arrow.
Oh, put both of them together.
So the reason is because you want to use a giant arrow in the beginning of the attack in order to get the most value. But if you combine it with a healer puppet, well, those healers pop out right away, which
Then they're
maybe
gonna
you
get
do or don't want, maybe. And then with the archer puppets, the archers pop out right away. And then with the Invis Vial, she goes invisible right away and uses up her power shots. So
yeah.
the frozen arrow and the giant arrow synergize
Do those
best
both
together.
blow that quake right through? Just with seeing that attack, and then I really worked on that with this attack, with both of them, really aiming that log roller straight down that whole big thing of defenses,
Mm-hmm.
and that thing just kept going and going, and I
It
I
rolls
really
right over
thought,
them. Yeah.
I just thought, I wonder how many quakes that would take to, because everything's always in a line usually.
Mm-hmm.
So
Just
I'm
to
gonna have to
finish them
try it.
off. Yeah. I
Yeah, so I
mean,
was excited about that. And then I thought,
Quakes.
there that is sitting, like I was talking before, at a level 3 or something like that. But
Yeah. My giant arrow's at level 1 on most of my accounts, though. So
oh, you haven't did
I
anything, huh?
haven't done anything on it. Yeah. I've been focusing on the other stuff because I know the other stuff works. And
Yeah.
I just haven't. Nobody has used the giant arrow to great effect, at least not
See,
yet.
that's what I gotta do. Do what nobody else is doing.
You're going to
Max
be the
that out.
first.
Yep.
El Primo.
And then they'll figure it out afterwards and then change it up.
You'll be famous in a Clash of Clans
I
world.
did use the earthquakes a lot back in the day before, when people weren't really using them.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't winning, but I was using them. So there's that. Okay, so on my list here of things was, when is Clash League? We need people.
So Clan War League is going to start. It's on the 1st and the 2nd of every month. So it'll be March 1st and March 2nd is when we have to sign up. And
So
it
that's
goes
coming
for
up really quick.
yeah, it goes for 7 days. It's a war attack every single day, just one attack, which is also interesting because you know how in regular war you get
Yeah.
2 attacks.
Oh, it's just one
So
attack?
if somebody messes up, well, somebody else can come behind it and clean it. You know, get at least get the 2 stars on it or try to 3-star it. Well, in Clan War League, everybody just gets 1 hit on 1 base, and that's it.
So how will it look then with the friendly battle? So now we can friendly battle. I bet you're gonna get a lot more participation, right?
Maybe. So before, if you were in a regular war, just, regular war spin, you could not participate in a friendly war in another clan. Supercell wouldn't allow it.
Okay.
So now, if you're in a regular clan war, you can go to another clan and you can do a friendly war, which that's used a lot in these esports matches. So that
Oh,
players and players want to do regular wars because that's how they get ore for their hero equipment. But if they're involved with a bunch of esports matches, then they can't do clan wars because before you couldn't do both at the same time, but now you can.
so friendly wars. Wow, I think I might have missed this one. So a friendly war doesn't count. You don't get loot.
Correct. Yeah. That would be like if House of L warred
Okay.
against L Relaxed
Okay.
or something like that.
And so that only applies to CWL?
No, so CWL, you could always do I don't know if you could do a friendly war during CWL or not.
So
But
we could start doing friendly wars on top of normal war?
if we wanted, yeah, which just for practice or whatever,
Oh,
you could find other clans and be like,
okay.
hey,
I misunderstood.
you could set up whatever timers you want too. So if you want to do it an hour long or 12 hours long or 5
It
hours,
seems
you
like
can be like, yeah,
a lot of work, but
you're
I didn't even realize you could do it that way.
yep,
That's a
set it
big
up special.
change.
Mm-hmm.
So it must be way easier to, hey, you guys, you want to do a friendly war on Friday night? We could do that.
Yeah, when before, I don't know if you remember, you have to match up all the
Yep.
weights for all of the bases and then both press the button at the same time. And if you didn't connect within the first 10 minutes, then you both have to stop at the same time and then
Yeah.
repress it again to try to match up. And sometimes that
Yeah.
wouldn't even work.
Man, people put in a lot of work on those matches.
Yep.
Holy shitballs.
Yeah.
That was a ton. And I never did it. And I couldn't even imagine it. So I was always thankful to everybody who was doing it at the time. because they worked all week long.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a really good change.
Yep. Solid. So I'm excited about that. That'll be good. Although I don't do many friendly wars these days.
Yeah, maybe when we get L rolling with some more people, can do something against the other
Some friendly
clans and the
matchups
family and stuff. Yeah, yeah,
with fans in the stands.
with the fans in the stands. So yeah, if you want to come to House of L this week, I guess we're wrapping up February, March CWL. If you want to come join for the league, or you want to come hang out House of L, come join us. What else you got tonight?
I got nothing else on my list.
Okay.
I have a shout out, but I'll hold off
Okay, yeah.
for that.
Do your shout out.
So I want to shout out Poppy Chewy Surfs. So he actually
Yeah.
commented on
Shout out.
my YouTube channel and said that he enjoyed listening. And I don't know if I should be offended by this or not, but he said he enjoyed listening to two old guys talk about Clash of Clans because he was an old guy himself. And so I that, made me smile. I appreciated that. So shout out to Papa Chewy Surfs.
And I'm not sure if it was him. There was a comment on the podcast last time, and I will find out who this is. I just don't have my thing right in front of me. That said, stick with Invasion Season 2. It gets better. So that actually, I'm going to keep progressing on that because, I did pause it because I just was afraid. So I will keep going with that. Other shout outs.
I don't have any at the moment. You have any?
Yeah, I'll shout out Sasquatch, Cerberus. As I've been dusting things off at the WBSMT radio studio and getting back into email accounts and things like that, Discord, catching messages that I missed back then, and running into people and stumbling upon memories that it has been a while. So I will do my best to get back to everybody and to keep the new comments coming in ready for the upcoming podcasts. So big shout out to everybody. It's been a good launch week. I look forward to everything that's coming up, and it was really cool to have this update thing kind of pop up. And so I'll be really excited. And I'm sure there's probably just little tweaks here and there that will get into it and be like, oh, I didn't even realize this. I guess one more way that I'll have some problems.
And a big shout out to D-Max. D-Max has been an amazing clan leader. He's hopped in there. Like, we've jumped in, started warring nonstop. He's been amazing. So huge shout out to D-Max as well.
Yeah, it's been fun warring. Shout out D-Max and Mergen. So that is all for me at the podcast. We will be back next week with a new episode, and there will be more episodes being posted. You can get a hold of us at clashofclanspodcast@gmail.com. Find us on the website. For now, I am also getting the socials back up and running. The old Google Voice 424-27-CLASH number doesn't work anymore. So if anybody's calling that, I'm sure that people are somebody is having a blow up on their phone.
It's so funny.
Yeah. So it'll be exciting, and I'll continue to get the website up and a little bit more organized so people can find those episodes easier. But I do have the player up right now. So, well, thank you, everybody, and keep it clashy.
Keep it clashy.
Skilly beep 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 skilly beep.